Okay, welcome to virtual Dauphin City Council meeting of May the 11th. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2, land known as First Nations territory, homeland of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, and Métis Nation. There are no amendments. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts the regular agenda as presented. Hearing no objections, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Sticilo. Be it resolved that Council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meetings: the regular council meeting of April 20th, 2020, and the special council meeting of May 4th, 2020. I'll wait for 10 seconds here to hear any objections. Hearing none, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Laughlin and seconded by Deputy Mayor Riel. Be it resolved that all items listed under item 5 consent agenda be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. This is one proclamation, National Public Works Week. Whereas public works professionals focus on facilities, services, and infrastructure, they are vital part to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, quality of life, and well-being of the people of Dauphin. And whereas these facilities, services, infrastructure could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public work professionals who are engineers, managers, employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for citizens. And whereas it is the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Dauphin to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest in understanding the importance of public works and public work programs in our community. And whereas the year 2020 marks the 60th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association and the Canadian Public Works Association, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, proclaim May 17th to the 23rd, 2020 as National Public Works Week, dated today at the City of Dauphin. Also, though we never got a request for a proclamation, but it's very apropos that this is National Nursing Week, May 11th to the 17th, and we have to acknowledge the hard work, empathy, dedication, and sacrifice that they make to take care of others. Their skills and expertise improve our quality of life. We show our gratitude to the nurses in our health system and acknowledge their effort, especially in this COVID-19 era. Also, As recommended by the mayor and city manager, filing items, AMM, the April 20th bulletin, Parkland bulletin, news bulletin of May 1st, 2020. Member advisories, AMM appeals to provincial and federal government for greater COVID assistance for municipalities. AMM raises concerns for Bill 48. Information on the federal rail safety improvement program and additional links regarding COVID-19 from the FCM. FCM seeks emergency funding for municipalities, support for sectors distressed by COVID-19. CERB expands new support for frontline workers. The FCM Connect, April 21st, 28th, and May 5th, 2020. Media releases, COVID-19 bulletins. Premier, the maintaining funding for municipalities, implements new temporary orders under the Emergency Act, provides 120 million support to small and medium-sized business harmed by COVID-19. Premier unveils major infrastructure package to help restart Manitoba recovery amid COVID-19 pandemic. Manitoba government flow funding faster to municipalities. Finance, Manitoba announces successful efforts to redirect resources to frontline, minimizing layoffs, sports, culture, and heritage. Plans a virtual celebration of Manitoba Day. Governments of Canada and Manitoba support for local food producers and farmers market. Government of Manitoba and MPI to issue rebate checks to policyholders. Government of Manitoba and workers' compensation return 37 million to provide financial relief to employers. Municipal relations, COVID-19 municipal governance frequently asked questions. Mountain View School Division, News Digest of April 27th. Manitoba Emergency Measures Organization, COVID-19, Spring Flood Updates, Growing Manitoba Ag, May 2020, Community Futures Parkland, We Are Here For You, News Bulletin of April 2020, CN Right-of-Way Vegetation Control, Manitoba Beef Producers Impact of COVID-19, Dauphin Friendship Center Pandemic Response, as recommended by the mayor and city manager. Motion carried. Moved by, is Councillor Juba on yet? No? Moved by Councillor Bellemare and seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report, May 11th, that of the city manager. Go ahead, city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It has been 3 weeks since our last regular meeting, and from my report, Council can see that we are still meeting regularly with the province regarding COVID-19 issues, municipal issues, but they are not daily anymore. They are 3 times per week, and in a couple weeks, it's anticipated that we will go down to twice per week. Also, you can see from my list of meetings that we are starting to talk about other things as well. And it's good to see that there's a little bit of normal coming back and movement on some things that we had started a couple or 3 months ago. Specifically, a few updates on a few things. Reverting back to COVID-19 items, though, on May 4th, the province announced that they will slowly start to reopen Manitoba and has given some guidelines about how to do that. So to help stay in contact with our ratepayers, we decided to open up 2 facilities. Right now, our fire hall doors are open to the public. And to date, most people who are going to the fire hall are delivery people, service providers, and the firefighters themselves. Also on May 6th, so that would have been Wednesday last week, we opened up City Hall to the public for payments. And if anybody needs to see any other staff, it would be by appointment only. And we're encouraging people to call first to see if there's any preliminary information that can be given over the phone, if the issue can be solved over the phone, or if we can limit the number of meetings to have a phone meeting first and then meet in public or meet in person after that. So initial response from our frontline staff is that people are respecting the rules. They are very cognizant of the situation and happy that they are able to have that option to pay with cash or debit a little more easily now. But there's not a lot of foot traffic in City Hall right now, and a lot of people are still opting to pay through the drop box or online, so that's great. I've also had some discussions with Dauphin Public Library, and they have started curbside book lending services last week and are looking at opening in the coming weeks. And Dauphin Rec Services, they will be resuming a few services as they are allowed to in the coming weeks and months. Next one I wanted to update you on is 119 Main Street North. So back in November 2019, the city acquired the title for 119 Main Street North through a tax sale. We've evaluated the property and have determined it's not an asset that the city would need to retain. So we are placing it for sale. As per the City of Dauphin's tendering and procurement policy, we will post the property for sale online and in our local newspaper. And it's good news that we already have some people interested in it. Based on our initial evaluation, there will be some conditions on the sale of the property because there's some structural issues with it and some mold issues in it. So we want that taken care of very soon. And we look forward to having an updated business on Main Street again. Last thing I'll talk about is the AMM City's Caucus meeting that the mayor and I attended, and it would have been on April 28th. So I talk a little bit in my report that we used to meet just 4 times per year, but the current chairman of this group, Mayor Larry Johansson of Selkirk, he's been encouraging more discussion even prior to COVID-19 and especially since. So we did have a video conference meeting, as I said, on April 28th. Deputy Minister of Municipal Relations, Bruce Gray, also participated, and he was able to give us some provincial updates on a few things. One was that at that time, they were updating or increasing the scope of people who were able to get tested for COVID-19. And so he shared with us that the more people that are tested, the more that scientists can learn about the disease. And so that was a good thing. They also talked about the province's review of the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, or ICIP program. And if council will remember, that is the program that the City of Dauphin has applied for our lagoon funding, lagoon upgrade funding through. And so he did advise, Deputy Minister Gray advised that they had finished, the province had finished their review of the applications and were forwarding the approved applications to the federal government for their review. So we hope to hear sooner than later the status of that project, of that funding. He also talked about, he took some questions, and one of them was a question about the general operating grant. And the province has committed to continue with their 2020 announced level of funding. And we got notice on Friday that we will see 75% of that payment shortly. They never said a date, but they said shortly. I've also heard sooner than later. So we're hoping maybe this week we will see that. And our second payment would come in the fall. Deputy Minister Gray also took some questions about an infrastructure stimulus money. And he said that they were looking at shovel-ready projects. And again, on I believe it was Thursday last week, it was announced the Manitoba Restart Program will commit $500 million to shovel-worthy infrastructure projects, which includes new water and wastewater projects through the Manitoba Water Services Board, road and highway resurfacing repairs, bridge repairs, municipal infrastructure priorities, and potential new cost-sharing construction projects with other levels of government if an agreement can be reached. So to expand on this Manitoba Restart program, to date we do not have any details of the program. And when we asked the municipal services officers on Friday if there was any information they could share with us, they had none. And as well, there was no new information today. So we are awaiting those details to see how we can apply or qualify. And there will be a brief discussion in the confidential section of our meeting later on tonight to start brainstorming on what some of those projects could be or how shovel ready we are on some of them. So stay tuned for a little bit more of that information. And that concludes my report.
Any questions of the city manager? Any questions of the city manager? Hearing none, we'll put the motion or the acceptance to a vote. Give you 10 seconds to hear any objections. Hearing none, we accept the report of the city manager. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Laughlin. Be it resolved, accepts as information the following corporate report for the May 11th meeting, that of the ICT manager. Any questions of Justin? Hearing none, the report is accepted. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for May 11th of the marketing coordinator. Any questions?
Councillor Belmer, I have one question.
Go ahead.
Ms. Charlotte, can you just explain a little bit more about the sign for the industrial park that bid has been paused? Is that COVID related or what's happening there?
Yeah, Councillor Bellemare, thanks for the question. It's been paused, actually not because of COVID, but more so due to the jail closure. A large portion of that Dauphin Business Park has land that is in the province's possession. And when we were originally designing the sign, the new corrections facility or whatever that facility was slated to be was going to go there. And so we did not see a need of really even including it on the available land. However, because the closure and no announcement of a replacement facility, we've just hit pause temporarily to see if we can gather more information. Should we include that land on it, and how should we include it? So just in the last few months of uncertainty, we've hit pause on that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of the City Manager for the marketing report, marketing coordinator's report. Hearing none, the report is accepted. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Sticilo. Be it resolved that the finance accounts haven't been examined by council, be hereby authorized and approved as follows. Checks 26450 to 26423 for 74 checks, 583,434.68. There's no voided checks. They're voided checks in past ranges. Check number 26230 for AMM, $787.50. The courses were canceled. Electronic payments of 5, mainly payroll, $145,095.12. A couple of the larger checks, Bentag Chemical, $15,220.42. OSS March Recycling, $19,297.32. And this is a big one, the AMM trade insurance. This is for all our facilities, $342,005.36. The rec services, no receiver general, April deductions of $37,168.22, and ESR engineering software for $20,182.40. Any questions? Anybody about the checks? Hearing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Loughlin, seconded by Deputy Mayor Riel. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statement before FASB for the period ending January 30th, 2020, the general fund balance sheet and income statement, the utility fund balance sheet and income statement. There's not much that we can do there until we get a few more months into the year. Any questions? 10 seconds for any disapproval of this acceptance. Hearing none, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements for the period ending February 29th, 2020, the general fund balance sheet and general fund income statement, the general fund balance sheet and income statement. Any questions? Hearing none, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Sticilo, second by Councillor Loughlin. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the reserve reports for the following period, January 2020 and February 2020. Any questions? Hearing none, motion carried.
Mayor Dohan,
Yes.
if I could let you know that Councillor Juba is back online and participating again.
Okay. Welcome back. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel
Thank you, Mr.
and seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following engineering department staff report for May 11th. Regular council meeting is that of the construction and maintenance foreman. Any questions of the report? Hearing nothing, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the minutes and reports of the following committees. The Rec Services, the General Manager's report of April 6th. Programs and Promotion Coordinators of March 20th. March 2020, I'm sorry. Assistant General Manager's report, March 2020, and the financials. The Dauphin Public Library financial statement, December 31st, 2019. The Parkland Regional financial statements, December 31st. Intermountain Watershed District meetings, standing committee meeting of February 19th, 2020, and Conservation Program Coordinator's report of February 2020. Any questions of the reports?
Councillor Belmer, I have a question about Communities in Bloom. So the Dauphin Rec Services does a lot of the work for Communities in Bloom, and of course this year is totally different. So what can the community expect to see this year in terms of planting and that sort of thing? Will we be fortunate enough to have business as usual, or might there be some changes to the program?
Councillor Eilers, do you have any comments?
Yes, as I reported in the last meeting, we're going to be downsizing on some things. We're not going to have the amount of hanging planters that we have, and we're going to approach it in a different manner. We will only have down Main Street. We're not going to have by the jail, as I reported before. And we're just going to take a closer look. We want to make sure we have by the CN, track, because that's one of our highly visible places. But because there's none of the other activities happening, we won't have, for example, in the CN Park and a lot of the other places where we have a lot of activities, because of course the Watson Art Center won't be having, same with the DR, the fair won't be going. So there's a lot of things that we're doing a little bit different because a lot of the different events that are happening in the Community Art Council.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Councillor Eilers. Motion carried to accept the various reports. Moved by Councillor Laughlin, seconded by Deputy Mayor Riel. Be resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated April 20th, 2020 from the building inspector regarding a proposal to subdivide southwest quarter section 142519 west of the prime meridian, lot 2 plan 51506 DLTO 208 Hawthorne Avenue East for owner Dean Zimmer and applicant Balkan and Kalchicki Survey, care of Greg Molnar, Community Planning Services, file 441120 7573, application 20013. Further be it resolved that council approves the subdivision application for the property as described above with the following condition. Variances be obtained where applicable as per City of Dauphin zoning bylaw 2015. The cost of the new service connection and extension the responsibility of the property owner. Lot service drainage cannot adversely affect the adjacent property. It is recommended that it be done in consultation with the City of Dauphin and in cooperation with existing property owners. Any questions of this subdivision? Hearing none, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence from Travis Parsons, Acting General Manager of the Manitoba Water Services Board, regarding their 5-year capital planning process, a request for municipalities to identify water and sewer projects that may be considered for construction in the next 2 to 4 years. Further, be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memorandum dated May 6, 2020 from the Director of Public Works and Operations prioritizing water and wastewater system projects as follows. Number 1, lagoon upgrades, the Vermilion Dam remediation, metering and pressure management zone study and implementation, aqueduct condition assessment. Further, be it resolved that Council agrees that the project recommendations outlined by the Director of Public Works and Operations be forwarded to the Manitoba Water Services Board for their consideration. Any questions of the Director of Public Works? Hearing none, motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Laughlin, seconded by whereas the province of Manitoba negotiated a cellular services contract with Bell MTS, participation in which is available to municipalities, and whereas administration compared its current rates to the proposed rates and found savings in the proposed rates, be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memorandum dated May 7th, 2020 from the Information and Communications Technology Manager regarding the details of the Bell MTS Mobile Services Agreement and recommending that the City of Dauphin participate as a public sector organization. Further, be it resolved that Council agrees with the ICT Manager's recommendation to participate in the Mobile Cellular Services Agreement between the Government of Manitoba and Bell MTS, a division of Bell Canada, and authorizes the Mayor and City Manager to sign and seal the agreement on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Any questions on this to Justin? How much are the savings? They're big amounts, like millions, or a couple cents? Does anybody know? Justin, Charla?
That's something that I do not know offhand, but we can get that information to you.
Okay. Any questions? Other questions? Hearing none, the motion is accepted. Moved by Deputy Mayor Riel, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, whereas a demolition order was issued August 30th, 2019 for the derelict and unsightly dwelling property on 224 3rd Avenue Northeast pursuant to Section 243, Section 1 of the Municipal Act, And whereas the property owners have worked with the city of Dauphin to improve the exterior condition of the building to the state satisfactory to the standards set out in the property standards bylaw. And whereas the city council has the authority to cancel a demolition order pursuant to section 244(2) of the Municipal Act, be it resolved that the council accepts information, a memorandum dated May 7th, 2020 from the deputy city manager indicating that the dwelling at 224 3rd Avenue Northeast is now in compliance with the property standards bylaw and a demolition order is no longer required. Further, be it resolved, the council rescinds the August 30th, 2019 demolition order for 224 3rd Avenue Northeast and thanks the property owners for their cooperation. Well, they did the job. It's drove by and looks good. Hopefully they can rent it out. And thank you to the Property Standards Committee for stewarding this property. I know it's caused a lot of discussion, and in the end, our patience prevailed and the demolition order is canceled. Any questions?
I don't have a question, just more of a comment on this one. It's Councillor Stakilo.
Councillor Stakilo.
Yeah, I just want to commend the work that the bylaw officer that does. Angela works really hard with the property owners as well as the rest of the staff at City Hall to get properties back in line with the way that the intended use of the property. So it's just nice to see that once in a while that this happens. So I certainly also commend the property owner for their efforts on this property. Thanks.
I certainly agree with you, Councillor Stakilo. It's a great job by the bylaw officer, and we like to have an odd success. Any other questions? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers and seconded by Councillor Stakilo, be it resolved that bylaw 08/2020 being a bylaw of the city of Dauphin to set the 2020 tax levy be now read a second time. Any questions? Give you 10 seconds. Hearing none. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Loughlin and seconded by Deputy Mayor Riel, be it resolved that bylaw 08/2020 being a bylaw of the city of Dauphin to set the 2020 tax levy be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and city manager. Any questions? 10 seconds. Approval, disapproval. It's approved. Everybody's in favor. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that bylaw 09/2020 being a bylaw of the city of Dauphin to provide for the payment of taxes be now read a second time. Give 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Loughlin, be it resolved that bylaw 2020 being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to provide for payment of taxes be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and city manager. So, any disapproval? Hearing none, bylaw is passed. Moved by Deputy Mayor Bellemare. No, Deputy Mayor Riel, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts this information, the invitation from the AMM 2020 Parkland District meeting, June 16th, and that'll be a virtual one. So that's the only invitation we have. We'll start with councillor privileges. I'll start with Councillor Laughlin.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Monday, April the 20th, I attended the regular council meeting, obviously online. I was followed by budgeting meetings as well. On Tuesday, April 21st, attended the budget meeting online that day as well. On Monday, May 4th, I attended the special council meeting for the budget online. And then later on, attended the planning and priorities meeting that evening. That's pretty much it. Just want to say quickly again, thanks to all the essential workers moving us forward during this this interesting times we're in. It seems like we're in, or we're moving towards a brighter tomorrow with things starting to reopening. So that's awesome. And yeah, that does it for my report.
I'm assuming it's my turn. I think the mayor's mic is muted, but I'll just go ahead here. For myself, April 20th, regular council meeting. April 21st, we had our budget meetings there with councillors. May 4th, special council meeting to give first reading to the budget. And I just want to thank all staff for the extra work in this year's preparation. It's usually a big task to undertake on a normal year. However, with this year's circumstances, the extra effort is greatly appreciated. And also thanks to the city manager for her great work in presenting the financial plan. Extra thanks for that is for you. Also, that we had a planning and priorities meeting after the special council meeting. For just a couple of upcoming events, I just wanted to notify and just remind people that the spring cleanup is commencing this May 19th. That's a Tuesday, and it'll be starting with the area, the day one area, and it's the same as past years in terms of what the pickup will be: accumulated garden waste, grass clippings, leaves, trees, branches less than 6 inches in diameter, and of course no bagged garbage or sorry, no bagged yard waste will be picked up for that. So with that, that ends my report. Thanks.
I guess it's Councillor Eilers. I guess it's my turn. On April 20th, of course, the last time we had our meeting, we talked about the utility fund. And April 21st, we continued with the general fund budget meeting. April 27th, the special council meeting. On April 29th, I had a Zoom meeting with the Canadian municipalities of Network on Crime Prevention. On April 30th, it was Household Food Insecurity Network with the Dietitians of Canada. And it was a position paper recommending to reduce and ways to reduce the food insecurity that a lot across Canada face. On April 30th, Economic Development meeting with the ministers. As previously reported, May 4th, Planning PMP meeting. On May 6th, we had a CIB planning a subcommittee meeting where we discussed with the DRS and proposals of how we're going to do different things as, because we're still continuing to look at maybe having the chip and soil day at the end of the month. On May 6th, attended another crime prevention meeting, and May 7th, we had a Healthy Together meeting. And this was very good. It's all our local agencies, and it was to address local food insecurity issues. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Eilers. I apologize. I was on mute and I thought I was talking. But anyway, Councillor Juba.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to let you know that Councillor Juba was not able to stay with our meeting, so he left about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Councillor Bellemare.
Hello, I attended the council meetings and the budget meetings via Teams as well. And on May 9th, I went to the Cooley Motors because Karen and Dean Cooley and their family have now given a $25,000 contribution to the Dauphin and District Community Foundation. And they're doing this to honor their 25 years of business in Dauphin. So we actually had a photo opportunity. It felt kind of normal to be out someplace doing something on behalf of council, and social distanced, as you'll see. Certainly the Coolies love Dauphin, and they give back in lots of ways. They've been involved in a number of community activities. They really consider Dauphin their home, and they feel that this is one of their ways of giving back. I also took part in some of those Canadian Municipality Network for Crime Prevention phone calls. They do it through Zoom on our computer. And recently, important topics like COVID-19 and the violent threat risk assessment have been topics. It's really beneficial to hear what others across the country are doing to address their issues. And interestingly, the issues tend to be the same across Canada, though the size and the details vary, and certainly the responses vary. So they're interesting and helpful to participate in. I'd like to give some kudos to all of our local businesses that are going through the process of reopening. We know that this is a time of stress and change for you and your staff, and your open doors are greatly appreciated. A reminder to everyone to spend your money locally as much as possible. We have a wonderful selection of local businesses, and they need our support now more than ever. If we want good shopping in Dauphin, we have to support them through our spending habits. And wash your hands, stay 6 feet away, and be kind to each other. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Deputy Mayor, thank you very much, Councillor. I'll wash my hands. Deputy Mayor Riel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. April 20th, I attended the regular council meetings. April 21st, I attended the general fund budget meeting. April 22nd, I was able to attend through the Chamber of Commerce. It was a noon presentation, Leading Through Crisis, and it was excellent. And I'd just like to thank Stephen for bringing that to us. And as well as I just want to commend Stephen. I think he's done a wonderful job working remotely through connecting businesses, virtual coffee breaks. Just can't say enough about how much initiative he's done for businesses. And as Councillor Bellemare said, very important for the local businesses to stay connected. Many are going through very difficult times. Many are busier than normal. from being extremely busy to some not sure if they'll be able to keep their doors open. So thanks to the Chamber for all they're doing there. April 30th, I attended the Zoom meeting with the ministers as well. And May 4th, the financial plan, and then the planning and priorities meeting. And there ends my report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Similar meetings on the budget. 28th, we had a city caucus meeting via, I guess, Zoom it was, and it was on Bill 48 on the planning. Not going to affect us much, but it's causing a lot of angst in areas around Winnipeg. 30th, the Minister Wharton and Eichler were here on see how we're doing on economic development, etc. A lot of questions. And on May 4th, the financial plan presentation, and the highlight was definitely a no tax increase, and then followed by the planning and priorities meeting. And then on May 8th, we recorded the State of the City address, and that's a different experience. And thanks to Justin and Ember, they were sure. I thank them for their patience, and they're just excellent in the knowledge of technology that's out there. And so listen at 12 noon tomorrow. It'll be uncovered at that time. Nothing really outstanding. Everybody knows most of it, but it's just a little different in the way it's presented. And also tomorrow is Manitoba 150. May 12th, 150 years ago, Manitoba entered Confederation, and it's a little different in celebrating it this year, but we're told that the public presentations can be held next year. So a lot of postponed events in our community will be going on next year. So, and also this Thursday and Friday is a tree giveaway at the sale barn behind the Rotary Arena. So apparently there's only 18 left, and thank you for the response of all our citizens here in Dauphin, and follow the instructions on planting, and in a couple of years we'll have a great canopy over Dauphin in trees. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, Eilers, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that council meeting be recessed at 6:03. We'll be going, just Councillor, hang on. We're just cutting the YouTube feed, and then we'll go on with Committee of the Whole. Thank you.